I think I got
Got
the
it.
recording going. Okay, cool.
Okay, perfect. Yeah, no,
Yeah.
we didn't even need
Cool.
we didn't even need the beginning part like recorded, you know.
Perfect.
Oh, yay, Chris is here.
Hi.
Hi,
Hi.
Trissa. Cool. Well, yeah, let's get started. I know that I think Jen's going to be hopping on soon as well, but definitely super excited to have like connected like with all of you guys tonight. I know like for me personally, I feel like this past like year and a half, like we haven't been able to connect as much as we normally would. So being able to reconnect in this space feels so, so good. And I know like hoping like connecting with Erin, hopefully we'll be able to get this on maybe like a bi-weekly type of like frequency, but just being able to like do it like more like throughout the month, whether it's getting back to like full moon and new moon rituals, just whatever we can to like reconnect like as a community. Because I know like each and every one of us, like we feed off of that energy, and that energy conveys into the people that we speak to how we share the business, to how we share it and like show up for ourselves. So very excited. But yeah, so like for this call, we're gonna just kind of be like focusing and like talking just like through like our top tips and tricks of kind of what we do to slay our to-do list. I think it's like really important that like we talk about this and we share about it, because who knows, like that one thing that like Erin shares might be the very thing that like Julia needs in order to like revamp like how she does her business and how she shows up for like her healthy habits. And that new thing could just bring that sense of newness into you and just spark something within you that you've been craving. So I guess I will go first. So my top, I guess, like business to-do list, or my business tip and trick would be using the Sloth app. So it's a free app on either Android or Apple, but basically you're able to input your to-do, like your specific task, and for like the duration of what you're looking to like you're looking to have like the task be done for. So for me, like I would put in like find 50 women who are like my tribe and friend them on social media. I'll do that for like 2 minutes, and then it'll kind of just like run through my other tasks. But it has this really awesome feature of like kind of like a bell or like a vibration that will kind of just let you know that you're shifting gears into your next task. And basically once you're done, it kind of just recycles all the way up to the top. So once you're done for your work for the day, then you'll be able to go back to it the next day and just kind of start right off. Or you can kind of like re-customize it if you don't want to do connections right now, but you really want to dive into invites. It'll kind of be super customizable to like kind of what your flow is with your business on that day. And then going more into kind of like my healthy habits. So I'm very busy, work 9 to 5, have like an hour commute. So like that time in the morning is very, very slim. So things that I do to just like prep myself to make like my transition from like waking up to working out super seamless is dry scooping and getting my workout clothes like ready the night before I wake up, so I can just have everything. I know what workout I'm doing, what clothes I need to wear for that workout. And then it's just super seamless, wake up, dry scoop, get my clothes on, and it's a vibe. I think one of the things like so many people don't really understand why people dry scoop. And for me personally, I just think that it's super quick, the energy hits you, and it's just put on some good music and it's a vibe, but to each their own. And then my last tip is when I'm connecting with people on Instagram, and probably everyone knows this, but like I used to do this when I was a new coach and then I stopped, but now I'm like, wow, this was so good. And I started doing it again, and it makes connecting with your people or following up with your people so simple. You're able to flag the people that you're speaking to. So like now I've just been flagging people who have straight up said that they're interested, they need something that I'm offering. And when I'm going to do my follow-ups, I can filter out for those people who have the flag icon. And then those are the people that I have to either connect with, follow up with, or simply just see how they're doing. And it could be a totally like coaching Beachbody conversation, but it saves so much time, because for me personally, I'm a pen and paper person. I tried doing all the sorts of different gadgets of tracking my people. But the one thing that takes so much time is like taking that name and like finding them in your social media and like seeing, okay, when was the last time we had a conversation? When was the last time we interacted with them? So just having them kind of all in that one space electronically is just super easy, super seamless, and just saves a lot of time. Carissa. if you're open for sharing, or if you guys have questions.
Yeah, what was that app?
Yeah, it's called Sloth. I'll put it in the chat. And it's totally free too, and very easy to use.
That app sounds amazing. I know you've told me about it before, and I don't know why I haven't like actually really tried it, but it sounds like it would, I think I would benefit from that so much, like something to keep me on task like that.
Yeah, no, definitely. And it kind of has like the same vibe as like the new like online business activity tracker. But like for me personally, like it's just very easy to kind of just like swipe and like change the screen on your phone or have it playing off in the background rather than like having to sign into like the Coach Online office or doing anything like that. Like I know for me personally, I kind of can get sidetracked. So like this is it's one job and it's one job only. There's no way for me to like procrastinate or get off topic. So
I like it. Thank you.
well, yeah, of course.
So basically, I don't really have to think of them as like tips or tricks. I just, hold on, my cat's about to knock my water over. All right. Hold on. Sorry. So basically I just feel like I have the most consistency because of the Zoom link and like the community we've built like within us. Like there's a couple of us, Julia and Sam and whatnot, we'll literally every day be on the link. And I feel like the Zoom is super helpful in that motivation, because there's times we'll get on it and nobody will want to do anything. Nobody will want to work out. Nobody will want to literally like just, we're all in a mood, and it will motivate us to just actually get up and do it. So, sorry, I have the worst ADD and my cat's just being a nut over here. So yeah, so I feel like that is probably one of the most beneficial things, is having the virtual link and having that group of people just during a certain amount of time or certain time of the day to get on with, to kind of be your accountability buddy, I guess you can say. The other thing I would say is keep, like, I have all my calendars of like my workouts and everything all around my computer area where I do my workouts, where my weights are, like everything I feel like is all in the same area. And it kind of helps me like with that crossing off on a calendar. Like I didn't always have a calendar, but I bought a dry erase and I've been doing like whatever the workout is and crossing it off, and having that cross off of the calendar has been really helpful in keeping myself like, hey, I need to cross it off today. I need to get that done. I need to like stay consistent. So I feel like having everything, like not really a workspace, but like your, like maybe affirmations, your calendar, your workout guide, like whatever you want, just in that same area as your workout stuff, your computer, your weights, and having that dedicated area is really helpful. Mine's also literally in the middle of my house, which I have to walk through. So I see my weights like on a constant basis, and my like, and it'll just be like, all right, I need to get my shit done. Mine's really like, I do it for mental health. So I feel like if I just feel like shit, I just have to do it. Like, and so that's like my consistency, is like, it's therapy. So like, I know even if it's 5 minutes, like today I didn't want to do shit and I got 40 minutes done because I started, and I was like, I'll do 5 minutes. All right, whatever, I'll get it done. I'll do like one workout, and then you do it, you know? So I feel like that's like consistency. I don't know, just doing it.
Yeah, I love that. Honestly, it's just like doing the shit. Like you're just like getting it done. And honestly, I even feel like for someone who maybe is like doing all the things but doesn't necessarily feel like productive, like having that check off is just like that real life in the moment like action item that you're doing that solidifies that like you're doing things to improve yourself, whether it's your healthy habits or your business. I love it. I would honestly love to see like a picture of what your dry erase calendar looks like. I follow a couple of girls on social media and they kind of have one very similar.
So this is my little area, and it has like a little tracker. I'm not the greatest with it, but hold on, we're opposite. So this is like my little like routines for me to like cross off, get my stuff done morning. There's a night on the back, our little Raise Your Vibe. And then like if I'm doing, you know, a specific calendar, but that's technically my calendar, and then I'll write whatever it is and then cross them off, and then, you know, I don't know, helps you stay consistent.
I
And then
love it.
like you write down your list of people and like your customers and your coaches and stuff, and it's kind of inspiring seeing like people that you help by that area too. So I don't know.
Hell yeah. No, I love that. And I also love it, and you didn't really talk about it, but like your healthy habits that like you do every day, like having that, I think you have it in like that plastic sleeve to like check off. I think that that's super beneficial too, like especially for someone who like maybe is like super inconsistent and like does like one thing one day and then will do like something else like the next day. Not saying that that's bad, but if they're looking to build like a stronger routine, like that's definitely super resourceful too.
Yeah, I found it's been helpful because I'll have it in a planner, and like I was checking it off in like the planner that I use for like my day to day, but then I realized it's not all again in the same area. So it kind of sorry, lost you guys. You're balancing on a plant right now.
That is okay.
So that's
Yeah.
how like, you know, it's helpful when it's all in one area where you're doing all your workouts and stuff.
Yeah, I love that. And it's also like in your face too. So like I know for me, like I have a planner, and like if the planner is closed or if there's another book on the planner, like it's not happening.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for sharing, Chris. I really appreciate it.
Thank you.
Yeah, I just want to say real quick that I love your idea of having like your daily list, your like work checklist, your workout thing, like all in the same place. Because mine for sure right now is like this notebook and a post-it over here and a planner that I don't really use. And it's like, it's not working, and I've known it's not working, but I haven't had like any kind of like simple, like I can do it idea of how to simplify it. And now after seeing your whiteboard, I'm like, I literally can do that and make my life 10 times easier in like 10 minutes.
Yeah, and I got it on Amazon. I mean, I had to search for a while to get like one that had a decent size like writing area on the side, and then it has cork on the bottom too, so if you want to like stamp things in there. But I found that's been really helpful. Other than like I feel the same way, like I have stuff elsewhere, and I'm trying to figure out how to condense it. I think it's like the Virgo in me. I'm just my organization and my like tactical but I have to figure out how to get like my my prospects into an area where it's like in the same area, so where I'm like, it will provoke me to like do invites and follow-ups more. That's been like my big thing of not being consistent, because I feel like that notebook of names and people and stuff is like in a different area. So I don't know, I'm gonna try to figure out a way to like combine that.
Yeah, that's a great idea. I feel you on that. I could benefit from something like that too.
I know like for like my whiteboard, I have like a list, and like I don't know if this like would work for you, Carissa, but I have like a list of like all of my like coaches and clients and like customers, but maybe like implementing something like that where like it's your prospects. So like if it has to be like in your face, like maybe having like a separate whiteboard that kind of has like your prospects, depending on like how big it could be, you could even like categorize it. I don't know, just throwing it out there.
Yeah, no, that's actually a decent point. I just feel like I'm just taking up all my walls with whiteboards at this point, like a teacher. So.
Honestly, it's resourceful though, so.
I know. So good call. Thank you.
Yeah, of course. Marina, do you mind sharing your top tips?
Sure, why not? Actually, I wanted to, okay. So I am the kind of person who doesn't like things to be the same all the time. So I feel like I've had so many different organization processes, and they've all worked in their all way. And then I get super bored of them, and then I have to change it and be something completely different to get me engaged, because that's just the kind of person that I am. So one of the things actually that you guys have been talking about that really used to work for me, like it was so awesome until it didn't work for me, just because I decided it wasn't good anymore. But I used to put follow-ups and everything in my iCalendar, like on my phone. So this way I would have it like literally, like it would set off a little alarm and go bing, follow up with this person. And usually I could just really quickly at that time just go to the Instagram and just be like, hey, da 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 da. So it would be like a really quick thing, or you could schedule it for a time that you know you're going to be set down. But that was one of the things that really helped me, because I hear the theme right now is having issues scheduling your follow-ups and invites. And that's something that I've really gotten down. I feel like the Success Club tracker on the Beachbody app actually like makes it like so perfect. I know it's kind of not the best for anybody who's working on their phone because I hate the interface on my phone. I think it's the worst, but I'm a person who works on my computer, which was another tip that I have, but I'm going to get to that next. Is that just having that dedicated space for where you work, which is, it really goes off of what Carissa says, like just having that space that's where your productivity happens. I feel like that is so powerful. But the 3 different ways that I used to schedule my follow-ups was one, the first time I had a planner. And that was one that was constantly open and it had your 10 in play list. And it had the people that you were interested in. And I would have to flip back and forth, which is why I didn't really like the planner. But for some people, it works because it would be every month I would have the people who I invited who were interested in, and it would have like 30 slots. So there was 30 people that I could have possibly been inviting to the wellness community. And then there was another few pages that had 30 lines on it that was people that were coaches that had expressed some sort of interest. Maybe I sent them some sort of email. Maybe they said, yeah, they want more info. So I knew like every week to check onto that list because that was that month of who I was really talking to. And then if I went to the next month and I'm looking for my follow-ups, I would go back, and the ones that are already signed up with me, I would have highlighted, and then I would just keep going from there. I like that. I used that system for about a good 6 months. And then I wanted to be something more that was like streamlined into my phone or into my computer, because then I started working more that way, not so much pen and paper. And then I started doing everything on my iCalendar. I used to organize it into different sections. So like on your iCalendar, and I'm sure any calendar you could do this with, you could make like, you have your work tasks, you have your, I don't know, home tasks, you have your follow-ups, and it was a different color. So every time you would put it in your schedule really quick. And what's great about, I have all Apple products, is if I scheduled it in my Apple phone, I would just pop up right on my Apple computer at home. So it would all integrate in between these seamlessly. Now, if you have a Google Calendar or Google Docs, you could do that, and you could bring that wherever you want to go with it. Or if you have Android, you could access it that way too. So I would assume there's some sort of way that you could have a seamless calendar integration between devices, if that's the kind of person that you are. I don't know, everybody has a different way that they work their stuff. But if you're working mainly from your phone and you have a calendar within there, you could literally, and what's great about it too, because I work most of my business on Instagram, I would put their name, and you could even link it. Like you could put within the text box, you could link their actual Instagram. So you could click it, or their Facebook link, or you could click it. And it's like, oh, bing, 5 o'clock, I have to follow up with this person. Or maybe I just have to touch them, you know, like when you're warming people up, your cold market to your warm market, you're just constantly like checking in with those people. And that works really nicely too, to have it all scheduled. Now with the Beachbody Success Club tracker, the way that they have it set up is essentially you could schedule everything in there. And then when you go to your tasks, I don't know if you've seen it, it has all of your listed follow-ups, and then you could change the date. It literally does it for you. So I like to log in there. I like having it all virtual. You could schedule everything the way you need to, whether it be the follow-ups for somebody that you've already invited. You could categorize all of your connections in there, all of that good stuff. So those were really the things. The way that I'm jiving right now is I really love the Beachbody Success Club tracker interface. And then also within there, you could edit and add your own tasks on there. So I have my self-care tasks on there. I have a lot of things that I've taken from other coaches. Actually, what's her name? Britt Tolson. She put her checklist that she just recently put in Dream Corp that had a lot of things that I thought, oh, like I should be sending out happy birthday messages on Facebook. Oh, I should be doing that. And then you could add that right into your list. So, I mean, everybody's going to make their own list in their own different ways. That's just the way that I've been jiving with right now. And like I said, every time I've had it a different way, it always works. But I just like to change things up, because otherwise I just get completely disengaged and bored. I'm like, okay, I've used this to completion. I need to go on to my next thing. And what's really cool also about the Success Club tracker is timers. Timers was going to be the thing that I really wanted to talk about on what keeps me on track, just like how Genevieve said. If I don't have a timer, then I'm lost, because I am always going into scroll holes. Like, and I try to make my timers like really short. Like I would love to put a 20-minute timer on, but I noticed that if I put a 20-minute timer in, 5 minutes I'm working, and then 15 minutes I'm scrolling around. Ooh, what's this? What's that? Like I'm just all over the place on social media. I don't know what I'm doing. So I like to do 5-10-minute timers tops, because then that ding goes off and I'm like, shit, did I actually do work, or did I just fall, I don't know, looking at Sasquatch reels for like 5 minutes, because whatever, I don't even know what the hell I was doing. So I feel like that really keeps me in check. And what another thing that I really wanted to touch base on is just having a dedicated workspace. I know when I come home and I'm like, oh, I'll just work a little bit on the phone from my couch. I never get work done on the phone from my couch. I am comfortable. I fall asleep. I'm like in the dark. I need to have a well-lit space. I need to have a space where, so that's why the computer, also, I used to work in corporate on computers. So I feel like I just associate that. I like to be in my emails and stuff like that. Again, everybody's going to have a different thing, but I really love having a computer. And before I had a computer, I had my iPad with, you know, my keyboard attachment, just something that makes me sit upright. Like being outside right now, this is a nice area. I feel like if I had just like my space between my two things, I could do it. I tried to, because I have no AC in my room upstairs where my computer is. So I was like dying in the middle of summer, trying to get work done on the couch. Didn't happen. So then I set up everything in my kitchen and like brought everything and just made sure that I have like all of my stuff. I try to prime myself before I get started. I like to like, I almost have like a little bit of a ritual. Like I have to make sure that I have certain things in line. I like to do my affirmations. I like to do the I am successful meditation from the Beachbody On Demand thing. I think it's great because it's a lot of visualization work and it's creating your own energy. I feel like a lot of what we do is energy, right? And if you go into, you know, your inbox and all that stuff with the wrong energy, I just feel like it doesn't convey well. You're just feeling like you're doing things because you have to do things. People read that, you know, like I feel like when I'm pumped up, when I've connected with my vision, when I'm in a space that makes me feel creative and beautiful, like all of this nice energy is just like beaming out of me. And I feel like that's the ultimate attraction marketing, you know, like just being a magnetic and attractive person through your words, through your energy, in your inbox, sending copy and paste messages. I don't know, for me, it doesn't really work. I do it to a point, but I usually change it up every single time that I'm sitting down. Like I change up just a little bit to how I'm feeling that day, because that conveys in your messages. Because I know when I send a bunch of copy and paste messages, it just doesn't work for me. I like to, you know, sit there, find my focus, find my center, visualize me being successful, how many women I could help, what it is that makes me so passionate, and, you know, tap into that. I feel like that really just conveys to my messages. So yeah, that's my top tips is, you know, setting timers, short timers. I don't like to do long timers. Your groove might look different day to day. You know, it could change, right? Like something that works for you. If it worked for you for like a good solid month, awesome. Don't get like so beat up on yourself because it's not working next month. Maybe you just need to tweak something and you'll find your groove, and that might work and it might fizzle out. I mean, after 3 years of doing this, I noticed like I used to get so down on myself because things would work for me. And then like I would hit a rut and I'd be like, I'm the worst. I can't do this. But really, you just need to like sometimes just change it up. At least that's the person that I am. So yeah.
Love it. Literally, that like all the content or like all the information that you just shared was absolutely fire. I took down so many good notes. I specifically love the aspect of like priming your mindset and like having like your own like ritual. I feel like that within itself like could be like a total like separate like call. So I definitely want to pick your brain about that more. But also, yeah, like the Success Club tracker, I haven't dived like super like into it, but I did love that. And I was kind of sharing that before in regards to like the tracker that, or like the timer app that like I use separately. Just having like the timer is like so beneficial because that again is like, I believe one of the top coaches talked about this, but it's something called like transitioning. So like basically whatever you do like in your life, like when you're going like task to task, you essentially should transition, whether you get up for a second, take your mindset off of it, and then like go into that next task with like a fresh mindset. And having that timer like allows you to like consciously bring that energy back to the forefront, whether you're like having like that whether you're reflecting on whether or not you were just aimlessly scrolling, or for the fact that like you just banged out like 10 invites and you feel super productive. So thank you so much for sharing. Really appreciate
No problem. Anytime.
Jen, I think you're also in the car, so hopefully I don't think you're driving. I don't think that's the driver's seat.
No, but I have to get out the car because I get nervous.
Because I get nervous. I love it. Don't be nervous.
I'm like, I'll just walk around. Okay, so I'll just say it really quick. Awkward. Okay. So a couple things that has helped me is like the voice, like talking instead of texting.
Mm-hmm.
I get very like when you texted me about something, that's how I am. Like I get confused with like words. So, and then like I can't like explain my personality when I'm texting. So like I've seen like my messages are so dry, and like I reread my messages, I'm like, who is this person talking? This isn't this like my personality. So like I'm way better and more comfortable like using like the voice note now to connect with people. And another trick that I use is I go on the champions page and just like do a power hour with whoever is doing a power hour. Because then I don't feel like I'm doing something by myself. Even when I'm in the like the accountability group, sometimes I'm like, like I get distracted. I'm like, what am I supposed to do now? Like, but the person when they're on the Beachbody Champions page, they just tell you, okay, like now we're gonna go do this. So I'm like following them. Those are two things that has really helped me stay more like focused. But those tips on the iCalendar, and I did not know we could do that. I'm like taking notes on that too. I'm like, wait, what?
Okay, one, gotta say, I don't know where you are, but your backdrop looks beautiful.
You don't want to know where I am. You'll be
Oh.
very upset.
What is it, like somewhere like our
hold on.
hometown?
I'll just show you really quick, then you'll know where I am.
Wait, where the hell are you?
I'm at Hudson Tacos.
Oh God. I went to this like really good like taco joint, and apparently like Jen, like that's like her favorite joint as well. So next
Oh my
time
God, I love
we'll
it.
have to go.
Yeah.
But yeah, that the whole voice memo thing, like being able to like convey your personality, that's going to be probably one of the best ways for you to connect like one-on-one with your prospects. Because again, like I feel like a lot of the times when when we're texting and we're writing out our messages in like via text, we can kind of lose our personality, or we can like mold ourselves into like, let's say that other coach or however someone else is talking, and we might not actually speak like that in real life, and people know that, they can pick up on that. So when you're talking and you're connecting with people, or even when you're sharing like about the like virtual wellness studio or body, the way that your voice picks up in tone because you're excited,
Yeah.
the way that your energy comes out, that is going to be the best way in order to connect and just share your excitement and share your authenticity. So I'm so glad that you're rocking that. So glad that you already realized that.
Yeah. And I think like certain people too, like when you're saying something and you're like, yeah, I'm so excited, sometimes they like don't answer you back. And then, but if I say it in the voice, they're like, oh shit, she's talking to me. Let me answer her.
And they're like, is she really excited? Yeah, but also if you guys like haven't done the BB Champions like power hours, I've actually done them with Jen. Like anytime we work together, we're always doing one of the guided power hours. And that is probably one of like the best ways like to do your power hour, especially like if you kind of have like that squirrel brain and like need that extra level of accountability of someone guiding you through it. It's super resourceful. Basically any one of those are like really, really good. So thank you so much for sharing, Jen. Appreciate it. Julia, I don't know if you're driving, if you're able to, so if you can't, totally okay. Maybe you could share later, but maybe give a nod if you can't.
Can you hear me now?
I can hear you.
Okay, so I can do it, but I can't have my screen on at the same time.
That's okay, not to worry. Go right ahead, go for it.
I assume you can't hear me right now.
We can't see you, but we can hear you.
Okay, cool. Well, you guys are just freaking awesome, first of all, because all of this shit is fire. I'm just soaking it up though. I'm gonna rewatch it later and take some notes, but already I can see some things where I've been struggling to kind of fit it in. But yeah, let me get to what I want to bring to the table. Kind of similar to how Jen was saying the voice messages come through. What I've realized when I'm trying to talk to somebody, my first kind of thing that I go to, and this is something I've only started in the past couple of weeks because I haven't been home. So I've actually been like between traveling when I was on vacation and then coming back home, I've kind of been all over the place because I'm trying to network in not just Beachbody, which I think is my biggest, one of my biggest things that I wanted to say, because nobody's talked about this quite yet. When you're opening up the door to like these conversations with people. So for me, looking for potential like women to mentor, or women that I vibe with, or just women that I would like genuinely want to be in like a part of my life. connecting with those women, I think in ways where it's like, yeah, I like follow them and I'll interact with their profile a little bit. And then I'll like, when I go on to like a message, I'll wait until it's a little bit more like to see if this person is active, like kind of like things. So I'm not burning out on energy of like people that aren't really active on media right now. So what I'll do is like, I'll like follow them and I'll like interact with, if they have a story, especially, I'll try to interact with the story and like a heart or like some sort of comment on something on their story. And this is like only if I like genuinely do like something about their story, or if it's like a cute puppy, which is always like, I mean, people are always posting cute shit. So I'll like comment on something like that. And then when they go into the DMs, then it'll be like kind of like us interacting through that for like even like a day or two, or just like what's been happening recently is when I interact that way, I find people respond so much sooner. And then it just starts like an organic conversation where we'll just start talking about something completely not Beachbody related. And I'll find that like I actually never bring up Beachbody, and I've been trying to hone into just like one connection a day is what I goal. And it's like one connection where I'm either talking directly to someone. So like for example, the other day I like talked to someone, I connected with someone on my story or something. She actually liked something on my story. So then we started like an organic conversation in the DM. And then I was like, hey, like you seem like a really cool person. Like I see you hula hoop. Like, would you want to set up like a hula hoop hangout like in the next couple of days? Like I'm free this weekend. And we ended up talking on the phone instead of hooping because she ended up being busy or whatever when it came up to it. But we talked on the phone for like an hour and a half, completely not related to Beachbody, but she asked me about it. She brought it up. She was like, oh, so I see you like work out. Like, what do you do? And then I brought it up and she was like, oh, like, do you have a special supplement? And I was like, oh, it's actually through Beachbody. And that was the first time I said the word Beachbody. And by that point, we had built up a relationship and like a rapport of like being just like normal people, you know, like I'm not trying to push something on you, right? Type thing. So it's like, it was very organic how it comes up in conversation. And then I just find that like those people are that much more genuinely interested. And for me, it's kind of like if I don't see like some sort of follow-up right away, I kind of like lose my motivation on wanting to talk to people sometimes. And like, that's probably what I will take away most from you guys is like that follow-up input and like setting reminders and stuff like that. And also the timers, because definitely I get caught up in trying to like, oh, am I really networking, or like, am I just like kind of like scrolling and like having fun looking at, you know, other people's content. But yeah, so that, and then I find that just really, it feels good too. Like it genuinely like feels good. And I think people pick up on that. And like, I've just been attracting different types of people by continuing to show up like on my Instagram, how I feel like instead of what I'm doing. So it's kind of like, I feel like this type of thing and I happen to be doing this at the same time, but then I'm like, kind of like relating like these emotions. And I think people connect a little bit more to that than they do with like, just like me posting like my shake. It's like me in the car or like me with my dog, like drinking my shake. Like, it's very like, it's not about my shake. It's just like, this is what I happen to be doing right now. And I'd like to share that with them, or like if I'm talking about something or making something. So it's just like little things like that, that for me feel more, like part of my day. And then I don't feel like I'm like setting up something to like make something. It's like more like in tune with like how I'm starting my morning. And then that sharing feels a lot easier. And then I get through the checklist a lot easier because it doesn't feel like a daunting task. It's kind of just like me going through my day. And then whatever I feel called to share today is what I share today. And then connecting and following up and whatever. And I don't know. I think that's been helping a lot. When I go into people's messages, I'll send voice messages like Jen was saying. It's so helpful because they typically like will surprise me when they send pictures or like videos or something else back, because it's almost like you break down this wall of like, you can show me that you're a human and like, I'd love to hear your voice, or like, I'd love to like see your face type thing. So I think that's pretty cool. Just because I genuinely have been feeling more connected to like women and in that sense of community. And like, I feel like the vibration of women right now is really raising, and I'm just like trying to feed into that energy, like with watching you guys, with watching other mentors that I have on media, and just kind of like Genevieve was saying, or I forget who was saying about like, I think it was Marina actually, going into your mindset and then just really having that drive, because then it doesn't feel like you're pulling at strings. It's like something that's genuinely like bubbling up and overflowing out. So the sharing is so much easier because you're not feeling that lack almost too. Because I don't know, I feel like it can be very like exhausting to feel like you have obligations, and I don't want to feel any resentment towards my business in that sense, where it's like I want to feel like it's something that I look forward to sharing every day, because I genuinely want other people to know what I'm doing, because it's not just about one thing, you know, it's like the mindset, and it's not just about working out. Like shit, half the time it's not about working out, so it's just about movement. So yeah, I think that my train of thought is
No, Julia, you were right on point. And I think I'm honestly going to like respond back to you in like reverse mode. So I think it's so important for people to know that like, it's not just like, this isn't just like one modality. Like it's not just about working out, and it's not just about eating healthy, and it's not just about working on your fitness. It's about integrating all of these things to like help us be a better person, in which will allow all of the people around us to also reap the benefit of that, and hoping to inspire them to, of course, take the leap and empower them to make those healthy changes as well. But I especially love the fact that like you just have this like natural energy for like people to like people in like your real life, whether it's like hopping on the phone with someone and like talking about them and like connecting on that like deep soulful level. I personally love getting phone calls from people, like obviously not like telemarketers or anything, but like I don't know, it's just like my jam. Like if Marina were to call me, if Erin were to call me, like I just love it. It's just such an amazing way to like connect. And the fact that you had that opportunity to connect with, hopefully potentially down the road, like a potential client and really good friend, that's just remarkable. And again, like it just goes to show you that even when you're doing like those like voice memos, like the people appreciate that like so much. Like that is such like, I feel like that's such a rare thing like on social media, is for people to like convey their voice, for them to say like, okay, like yeah, there's actually a human being associated with this account, and like she's pretty freaking cool. And then you get to like just connect on like a deeper level like that. So really appreciate everything that you shared. And hopefully you'll be able to get together with that girl and poop with her, and hopefully she'll join our community sometime, because she seems pretty cool. Erin?
she actually she said she's been with Beachbody before, so I think that was interesting when I said it. If I had said it in a DM or something like that, she probably would have not spoken to me more, because she wouldn't have known, you know what I mean? So I feel like even sometimes we get like a bad rep because there is like other people kind of, or just sometimes, I don't know, you just don't have like a vibe with the community the way that we do right away. So people, I don't know, like it takes like, I think that personal level can just take someone from being like, yeah, like this is something I've tried, and like I thought it was cool, but it didn't vibe with me, and like changing their mind. And like those are the people that I feel like are like the diamonds that are missing, because they almost got brushed off by somebody else, and it's like, but you are great. Like how could someone treat you that way?
Yeah, no, absolutely. And I think like it's, that is why it's so important to like create such like a authentic and like deep connection like with your prospects. Because I know for me personally, I don't actually share that like what they're getting involved with is Beachbody until I hit them with that share card. And at that point, they trust me. Like they know that like I'm there to answer any questions. Like I've talked about my pug, I've talked about my weekend, like we've talked about them. Like we've created this relationship. They know I'm trustworthy. There's nothing shady about it. And I feel like exactly like if you were to have had that conversation like via text message, she probably would have left you on red. Hopefully not, but that's typically what it is. They're like, okay, I've done this before, let me pump the brakes. But you were on the phone, she was already vibing, already knew the kind of energy that you were giving off. So again, kind of just like reiterates that like I think we as like a community have such like an upper hand, because we are such like energetic beings that we connect on such a different realm with people, and that conveys in like the clients that we bring on. And like I know all of us, like we all have like those people that like have truly found like a love for caring for their bodies, and that's all because of the community, how we show up for ourselves, the kind of energy that we bring to the table. So it's definitely all like intertwined, and it all starts with us.
Hell yes, you're reading my mind. Okay, cool. Well, I have a pretty good amount of tips that I have written down that I'll go through real quick. But first I'll actually start with Robin. Since it's midnight in France, she's not able to make the calls when they're at this time. So, and actually thinking of that, before I dive into her tips, I have 2 tips that she shared with me that I'm going to share on her behalf. And then I'll share my tips. But before that, just to touch back on what we were saying at the beginning of the call, we are hoping to do more team calls like this, where it's very much like collaborative. Like every once in a while, maybe there'll be like, some sort of presentation and sharing like content and slides and stuff. But we're really hoping that we can have just a like dedicated time where we can all kind of say our piece. And if you have something you've been thinking or a question you want to ask, like making sure that we have more of this consistent coming together for that. And I actually spoke with Robin as well about doing some more moon rituals, and she is on board with that and I'm on board with that. So that will be something that'll be in the works, and definitely going to make sure Robin is included in that in way of it being in her time zone. But there's always room for more, so if you guys are having any ideas of other ways to connect, if you're wanting to do some sort of moon ritual, we can have two. There's nothing that says we can't have two. And I'm just looking forward to hopefully having more time like this, where it's hopefully not a pressure or chore for us to all come together, but I think it does benefit us. So I'm happy to be here. So with that being said, let me dive in. So Robin had two really good tips. One thing she said is having a visual reminder on your phone to stop scrolling. So this can look different for people. It kind of depends. Like, I really like the idea of an alarm, but I also know I kind of like that can be a lot of stimulation for me, an alarm going off, an alarm going off. So I'm the type of person who I do tend to like something besides like an alarm. So whatever works for you, if you are rocking with alarms, that can be the best on phone reminder. So that, I forget who first said that, if it was Marina, but Robin basically said that same thing, and that this is something she learned from Candace, who's my coach, a long time ago. Let me silence my phone. And it's so important, because I think we've all in one way or another basically been like, we will friggin' procrastinate if we don't keep ourselves on task, right? I've noticed that's like a big theme here. So I'll ask her if she has any like other clear ways that she has that visual reminder. I'm even thinking you can have like a little sticker that you put on your phone, or you can have like, there are ways to get creative about it so that you're like, I'm not just sitting here mindlessly scrolling, I'm doing task A, B, and C. The other thing she said, which honestly, I didn't expect this, and I'm like, this is a really solid tip. She says that on her hard days, if she's having a day, if she's maybe feeling down, super tired because she's been working all day, whatever, she says that those are the days where she still makes it a point, if she does nothing else, to send at least 5 invites. And she says that it's very much of like quickly just sending out at least 5, and that gives her something to feel good about. And it's also like, as we all know, sending invites is like a sure way to know that you are moving your business forward in the long run. She did mention it's like she does this because she knows there's going to be that 30, 60, 90-day delay in this business, but she has so much more peace of mind, even on her bad days, by getting this done. And I mean, the more I think about it, the more I'm like, yes, that would be so important. It kind of ties in with what Carissa was saying of like working out for your mental health. And she's like, it's my therapy and I know I need to do it. And then in terms of like our business, like the invites, it's like that thing that's like, we know we need to do it. So I really liked how her reminder is kind of like, or her tip is kind of like a reminder to really prioritize doing that aspect of our business, even though it's hard. And she was very clear that it's like, I think none of us on here are huge on just like copying and pasting messages, right? But one thing she said is that she will just go back to a previous invite. And again, we're talking about doing this on your like bad days, right? And just copy and paste that, put it in the new message, freshen it up a little bit, because I cannot agree more with like tweaking it a little bit, making it fresh to your energy, your mood, what feels real to you in that moment. And then she just sends 5, and she says she doesn't overthink it. She just sends her 5. And I can only imagine this takes like 10 minutes. And then she probably just goes, okay, well, I did that. And whether she posts or not, like she made it clear that like this is her thing she does, and her business has consistently grown, so proof's in the pudding, right? So I feel like that tip is like probably the one that nobody really wants to hear, but it's like super on point. Okay, so I have some tips, and like my tips are kind of like random little things, but I'm hoping that this might like spark shortcuts and little things that will happen for you and just make things happen quicker. So one idea is I love to share my workout clips, but you know, sometimes it's a lot every single day if you're working out 6 days a week to share your workouts. So sometimes what I'll do is I will have my workout clips and I won't share them that day. And then the following day for my workout, instead of recording clips, I will just take a boomerang. And so then I can share all of that all together at once, where I go yesterday's workout with my little cute clips, and then today's workout, and it's just a boomerang. Today's is done. And that way it kind of lets me have that accountability and consistency of sharing my daily workouts without actually having to show up every day to share my daily workouts on my stories. So that has helped me a lot, because if you're someone who's super busy, you could start sharing your workouts half the amount of time by implementing something along these lines. And this you could probably apply to other things besides your workout. Maybe it's like you usually try to share your personal development, and maybe you start grouping those things together. Just ideas. Okay, the other thing is I have found every once in a while I go to share my workout clips on my stories, and I sit there and I'm like listening to my music replay, and I'm like, what should I say? And I'm freaking wasting time. So instead of trying to come up with content for my stories for my workout clips every day, which after like 4+ years can get a little tiring, what I do is I go on to the Facebook group. That's usually my first place. So I go to Facebook, I go to the wellness page, I pick the clips that I want to use, and I start sharing a message that's to you guys, that's to the wellness community. For some reason, there's a little gnat flying around. For some reason, it's easier for me to think of something valuable to share when I know the audience I'm speaking to is in the same boat as me. So it's very easy for me to connect with you guys kind of quickly, like what I did, how I felt, what helped me to show up for that today, reminder that we're in this together and you guys can do it too. And then I take that and I copy and paste it into the bod group. And then I take that and I copy and paste it onto my stories. And I'll have my first clip will have this big ass paragraph, right? So I take like the first sentence, the first nugget of information, and I leave it on the first story, copy and paste the rest of it, go to the next slide, add a little bit, go to the next slide, add a little bit. And then maybe I tweak a few words so that instead of speaking to my wellness community audience, I'm now speaking to my stories, Instagram stories audience. And that is something that I can knock out within 10 minutes. I've logged into the wellness page, I've logged into the bod group, and I've put all my stuff from my workout and my healthy habits that day on my stories too. That's been a game changer for me, so that on the days where I'm like, oh, this is going to take forever. No, it's not. I know a quick and fast way to get that done. Another idea, I've told you guys this probably from day one, but you can always recycle your old great posts. If you have a transformation post that you've written in the past that you really put your heart and like really put your heart into it and really kind of tied into those pain points and walked people through your experience and what this is all about, take that same post, revamp the words a little bit to make it up to date, and add a new transformation photo. You don't have to rewrite every single transformation post every time, for example. You can also do that if there's like a quote that you shared last year and you love that quote. You can share that quote again. Nobody's gonna know. No one will know, and you can reshare your own content as much as you want. And also, as a matter of fact, if you guys follow Brock Johnson, he recently made a post saying how much he reposts his own content, and that you can scroll back and see that he reposts his own shit all the time. So knowing that, I felt gave me even more permission to be like, look, You can totally reuse posts. Even if someone knows, they're not going to care. So that right there can help a lot if you guys are struggling some days to come up with content, and feeling like you don't have time. Like really scroll back on your own social media and pick something that resonates with you today, revamp it a little bit and share it. Another simple tip is to stockpile your photos and reels, and doing it kind of in like a one-day thing. It's great if you're taking a quick picture in the moment, sharing it on your social media and getting it done. You know, I 100% think that that is great. Those little in the moment captures are awesome and everything. But if you're doing that and feeling like it's hard to stay consistent every day with posting, then you could really benefit from having having photos stockpiled. Like the other day, I snapped a picture at the park laying in the grass. The next day I posted it. Yesterday I made a reel. I have a couple pictures from the weekend before. Tomorrow I'll make a couple more reels, and then I'll have several photos, several reels, and then hopefully I make some in the moment posts throughout the week. But even if I don't take a single photo of myself, I will still have content to post. And that is huge. You would be surprised how much content by way of photos and different little, like at least the recordings for reels that can be edited later. You'd be surprised in like 1 hour, even 30 minutes, how much content you can stockpile for yourself. And don't be afraid to like space stuff out. So for example, when I went on a hike recently, I probably took, 6, maybe 8 pictures that I really like. And I will slowly share those 6 to 8 pictures over the next month. Instead of doing it all back to back to back to back, I'll kind of vary it out through my feed, but that's going to give something pretty to the rest of my feed while I'm slowly adding in more content that goes in my overall stockpile. I hope that made sense. Let's see. So, okay, I'm looking at my list. So then another idea is, if you have a idea for a post and it's kind of like a long post, that is okay. I'm a big fan of long posts. Like when you guys write long posts, I read them. I care what you guys have to say. Marina has like a violent aura around her right now. It's beautiful. I couldn't help but notice that. But yeah, so if you have a super long post, like, every once in a while you have something valuable, a message, and you want to share that message. But every once in a while, if you have a post and you're like, this is getting a little long, and you're thinking to yourself, I wonder if people are going to read this, ask yourself, can I break this up into 2 separate posts? Can I even break it up into 3 separate posts? I've literally done this. I have a long ass post. I take the 2 probably big themes of it and I go, okay, well, what if I only share one piece of this today and I share the rest of it tomorrow? And then maybe there was like one line that like felt like it was a meaningful quote, and then I would use that for a 3rd post. So it's like in one brain dump of getting my thoughts out, of creating content of value, I'm able to, instead of putting everything into this one big gorgeous post that people probably won't even read, it's like I'm going to give you a little bite of that, and then I'll give you a little bit more, and then I'm going to hit you with my bam moment where I really thought that this was one thing that, like, if you hear me say this, it's going to be so inspiring. Like sometimes we wait and we put our super inspiring last line at the very bottom and nobody's reading it. So do yourself a favor and bam, just make that its own post. And right now with Instagram, and there's so much to consume on Instagram through videos and through educational carousels and reels, they're saying that it's better to have slightly less like content in your captions for people to read. So again, I'm not saying you cannot make long posts, but being mindful of, will my audience actually receive this better if I try to chunk it down for them? And in doing so, you save yourself a hell of a lot of work. Okay, I only have a couple more things here. Okay, so let's see. An idea for reels. Now, two tips that I have found. I really love reels. Reels have really helped me grow my audience. I really see the benefit in doing them consistently. I really see the benefit in trying new different things and seeing like what works with you. Like I was doing so many lip syncing reels, they were doing great. And the other day I was like, I'm gonna do one of clouds. It's just gonna be clouds. And I love it. It's like my favorite reel. So it doesn't matter if it's not making great engagement or whatever. I'm still trying things out and I'm still expressing things that people who connect with me and aren't just following me because they're a creepy dude, they're going to go, oh, wow, she loves nature. I do too. And they're going to kind of start to trust me and like me a little bit. So play around with reels. And if you find that reels are being super time consuming for you, I will say they were for me at first too. I'm starting now to find little tips and tricks to be more efficient with it. So a couple things. One would be, actually, let me make sure I have this written down for myself. One would be set a timer for yourself. Like, honestly, for me, I would probably block out 1 hour where I am recording and trying to learn the lip syncing thing and record it. And then maybe I go and change my outfit and then do another one. But it's like at a certain point, if I've been trying to do this for an hour and I still haven't lip synced it perfect and then whatever, I cannot spend 4 hours trying to create reels all in a day and then not do anything else and then feel behind on everything else. Now, by all means, if you have 4 hours, knock it out. But for me, I found that since it can be a time consuming thing, I go, you don't need to spend all day, put aside a little bit of time. The other thing that I have found is I need to listen to that audio over and over and over and over and over again in order to learn it. So what I've been doing is at first I would go into my audio or I'd be scrolling or whatever, and I would just keep like pressing play and just keep pressing play and letting it play over and over again. Well, then I found out that if you go to the set a timer section when you're in creation mode for a reel, they will actually play the audio in the background on repeat before you hit that okay set timer. So basically all you would need to do is you go to creation mode of reels, you pull up your audio, you go to the little timer icon. Once you pull that up, it's going to start playing your audio just in a loop on repeat. So that's where I let it play and I'm hearing it and I'm learning it and I'm saying it. And instead of me having just kind of be like this for a couple minutes, it's just playing in the background. And that has helped me a lot, even though it's like a weird small thing. And then let's see, play in loop. And then my last tip on the reels was, I just lost it, but maybe it'll come back. And my plan is to have this list shared in the team page, and then we can add things to it, like in the comments section as we go, if more ideas come to us. So let's see, I'm almost done. I think I just have a couple last things. Okay, and then this is a simple one. We all know this, but like personal development, like you can get in so much personal development just when you're doing other things. And so if you are finding that you're not in the habit of consistent personal development, like that's one of the easiest fixes. And that's one of the biggest, it's one of the smallest actions you can take that will give you the biggest reward. So make sure that you are getting that personal development in. You can listen to the National Wake Up Call, audiobooks, all of this while you are doing something else, while you're driving or cooking or folding laundry or anything like that. So maybe ask yourself, like, am I struggling with procrastination? Am I struggling with perfectionism or whatever it might be? And be serious with yourself. Are you doing any personal development about it? Why not? Because you can search whatever it is you're struggling with. You can search it on YouTube and a plethora of videos will come up and something just might help. So make sure that you're really putting that personal development as a huge priority for yourself. And then the last tip that I have is recording valuable content. When you have Now, there's a balance to it. We do want to give value to our people on our social media following, but we don't want to give away all of our value and what we have to offer as a coach for free. So when you have like a really strong message and something that you think is going to really help teach someone and give them a tool, a really good idea is to create a video that's for the wellness group. So you can add this to your wellness page, to the Raise Revive wellness page, to a bod group, and then you can have free content to share on your stories. So what I would do, and this is something I learned from Candace, is let's say I just went into the Raise Your Vibe Tribe page and I did a live video and I talked to you guys about something regarding coaching. Maybe I talked for 6 minutes in this live video. Well, I can go and pull that up on my computer and have Facebook there with our group, with my video, and I can go on my stories and I can record me on our page doing a video, and I show people what I mean when I say I'm mentor, and I show people the little nuggets, a little 15-second clip of something that I said speaking to you guys, but that everybody can benefit from hearing. And so that, again, it's like any way you can think to use your content in multiple places is giving yourself such a huge like weight off your shoulders, because it's literally the whole like work smarter, not harder. So I really recommend that for like even just sharing the wellness group. Like you could log into the wellness group or the bod group, and then you could screenshot it and share that to your stories instead of feeling like you need to share your workout clips every single day. So the last thing I want to leave it at, those are all my tips. And the last thing I want to leave it at is when it comes to learning how to be more efficient, I'm finding that what I need to do is I need to figure out and get honest what's not working for me. And then I need to figure out how to make that thing work better and how to improve on that thing. So for me, if I'm looking at my consistency of working out, I'm going to start to reverse engineer and figure out how can I make working out more easy and more attractive to me so that I can actually stay committed to it. If it's working my business, how can I stay more organized? How can I set myself up more for success to be efficient with my work tasks, instead of like I've got a notebook over here and then I've got that, and where's my laptop, it's dead, so all of these little things, it's like if you're finding that there's something that's not working in your business, that's your clue of where you need to come up with these tips and tricks to help you, because everything we do in this business is so simple. So I find that most of it is just us falling into silly habits or us overthinking things. So I'm hoping that maybe there's certain things from this call, you take it or leave it, but you might also find that it inspires you to have your own version of something that somebody else is doing. And so if those come up for you, I really encourage you to share, because you never know how you have one little tip that seems like nothing to you, but it like would be a game changer for someone else. And I think a lot of us probably had a little moment like that today. So it goes to show that it's really worth sharing your tips and tricks, even if it seems like the smallest thing. So yeah, that's it for me.
Oh my gosh, yeah, I love that. Honestly, such good and like fire, like different like ideas, like from like the Instagram reels to, and I can attest to it. When you write your post like in like the accountability group and then mirror that into your Instagram stories, it actually works and saves so much time. You've taught me that. So it's definitely a game changer. But yeah, I also love that. Like the thing that like you're kind of like avoiding most or struggling with most, like shift your focus and like let that be your focus, or where you utilize these tips and tricks into like improving that area of your life. So thank you so much for sharing that. I wrote like a solid like page on like everything that you just said. So very excited to like implement it. I don't know about you guys, but I definitely had many light bulb moments. So really, really grateful. So yeah, honestly, very excited to like be able to like connect more with you guys, have more of these like collaborative team calls where we can kind of just like feed off of each other's energy. Because again, like we all coach and work our business and live lives like differently, but we all can like either benefit or grow from the things that one of each other, or wow, one of us are doing. So very excited. I think probably maybe like focus on like setting up like another team call in like a couple of weeks. But again, like super excited for hopefully getting some like full moon and like new moon rituals like on the calendar, because those are always fun too. Such a vibe.
Yes.
Well, thank you guys. Thank you so much for taking the time out of your evening or during your day. Appreciate you guys. Super excited. Sending lots of love.
Bye, guys. Thank you so much.
Wait, hold on. We have to boomerang.
Okay, good idea.
Did the call even happen if you didn't boomerang?
Right? Oh, you know what? I thought of one more tip that I don't think I shared with you guys. When you're going to do something quick on your Instagram, instead of opening up Instagram and then seeing that first post, which in my case just now was Genevieve's post and she's looking real cute, instead of getting distracted by that, you can hold down your Instagram thing and you can just go camera. And let me tell you how much that has saved me from just scrolling when all I was supposed to do was like take a picture of my shake. And then before you know it, it's been 10 minutes I've been scrolling. So that's a good one.
Oh, okay, there are so many options that you can choose from. I didn't know you could do that.
Craziness. Okay.
Craziness. Okay, yeah, wait, hold on. Let me use my new feature. Okay, let's go. Awesome. 1, 2, 3. Y'all are great. Love you lots.
Yay. Well, thank you guys again.
Love you guys. Have a nice evening.
See ya.